Chapter 4 gave us some incredible locations inside the dark.
Alright, so this is the tragic story of Safe Haven and Poppy Playtime, Chapter 4. And this is by Terrified T. If you guys haven't already watched the other ones, I'll link that in the description. It's one of my first reaction videos that we've done. We reacted to, I believe it was Riley, and then also the doctor, like the little dinosaur. So I've already played Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. Did I have a face cam at the time? Nope. But Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 is one of the most lore heavy games that they have came out with. Hopefully for Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, it's going to be a lot scarier. I may even replay Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 because the time that I did play, there were a lot of bugs, and it was a very, it was a weird experience. You know, it was halfway challenging and halfway confusing as shit. So I may end up playing that again on this channel. Let me know if you want to see me play Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 again. Of course, this will be on my main channel, which is GodMadeDan. But yeah.
Parts of the factory. However, inside this darkness lies a small glimmer of light. Light that represents hope. And this was Safe Haven, the beating heart of the friendly experiments. This location was not just a place to keep everyone safe, but it was a friendly home. And inside this home tells a compelling yet tragic tale. Wow. So let's uncover the untold story of Safe Haven.
Warrenbach.
Before Safe Haven was turned into a beacon of hope, it was actually used for something similar by the staff of Playtime Co., and was even called Safe Haven. The place was constructed by the construction company Warren Batch. This company was presumably what built all of the underground locations beneath the factory. Playtime Co. decided to use Warren Batch because they were a small family-owned company, meaning Playtime Co. could pay them an incredible amount for that time period, which would make them keep their mouths shut about what they were building. And of course, they had to sign a contract.
In 1972, you signed a contract, a legally binding piece of paper that says whatever is asked of you, you do it. We asked. You did. In 1990, you signed another, a renewal. In it, had you bothered at all to read it, you'd have found a small clause. Any and all directives will be accomplished in the appropriate time and with appropriate compensation should the project be completed to satisfaction.
Now, the reason for building Safe Haven was to create a reinforced, easily defendable central location for security staff. It would be equipped with blast doors, defenses, and multiple emergency entrances and exits. In other words, this location would keep the staff safe from any rogue experiments that got loose. Safe Haven would be powered by an independent electrical network with its own on-site generator. This would allow the location to run separately from the rest of the facility. If power was cut, Safe Haven would not be affected. It was equipped with a series of high voltage electrical coils which would be used to deter intruders. If anyone got too close, they would be electrocuted. It was also installed with reinforced blast doors capable of withstanding very high amounts of pressure. These doors would be used for 3 to 4 exterior pathways, each with fail-safes. Of course, it would also include a discrete emergency elevator system for transporting key personnel from the upper floors. This would allow for safe passage to the surface if things got out of hand.
So Safe Haven was already like a thing that was made for employees. I thought the toys just decided to, you know, pick that spot and they just, you know, closed it down because you saw a bunch of Adobe's goo or whatever you want to call that everywhere. And I thought that's, you know, just something that they put together because they're, you know, we figured out that toys can move. And that they're people.
However, for some reason, this location would not be enough to keep the staff alive for very long after the events of the Hour of Joy. So for the friendly experiments that survived, they took it over and made themselves a new home. This would be their beacon of hope. They were safe here, safe from the doctor and the prototype. Although, as we know, this safety would not last forever. While small compared to the rest of the facility, the importance of Safe Haven was immeasurable. Like I've been saying, it's not just a safe location, it's a place for the experiments to call home. At a time like this, that was all that really mattered. This feeling is something they rarely experienced while under Playtime Co.'s control. So it's important to them, and at first glance, there is a lot going on. It has a bunch of rooms, drawing on the walls, and even a few secret areas. That being said, in Chapter 4 when I
did miss a lot of the secret areas. That's like one of the reasons that I do want to revisit Puppy Playtime Chapter 4 is because I missed so much lore and different outcomes that could have happened. Simply because I was, when you first play it, you're like batshit scared. But I just want to see more that I missed.
First enter, we walk in from the location showers. They've been turned into an all-purpose room, including storage, food, trash, and even beds. As you will see, there was not a lot of room for all the friendly experiments, so they had to make do with what they had. Once entering the main room, we can see even more beds, a small goods store, a goal for play, tons of toys, and all of the remaining friendly experiments. Remember, these experiments are just kids, so the location's appearance reflects that. They've tried their best to make the place feel like home with all of the drawings and friendly touches. If we look up, there is a massive PJ Pug-a-Pillar toy. Considering he's not moving, I don't think he's alive, rather it's just a toy.
Oh, okay.
The most interesting part of this center room are all the drawings on the walls, and they paint us a picture of what the toys had to go through. This first wall,
it says something about this isn't food. The trains. They're really hungry, not eating that. They're talking about humans. Is that catnap? That's catnap with the red stuff. Like spitting on the other people. Like it's gas. Yeah, that's catnap. And then you can see a little bit of the prototype hanging from the top up there. And you can see Doughy.
Has a massive drawing of Catnap exhaling the red smoke while the prototype's hand is above him. This of course symbolizes he was under the control of the prototype. As we know from chapter 3, Catnap worshipped him as a god. You'll notice all the other smiling critters and even the kids that were affected by the red smoke. Interestingly, they are holding empty plates with writing saying they're not eating that, so hungry, and their tummy hurts. This is a callback to when Dog Day told us that the experiments were starved for not joining Catnap and the prototype. The ones that did were fed, so the bigger body smiling critters were starved to death and killed. This drawing reminds us of that. There is also the text, "Together we are safe," with Doughy, Kissy, and Dog Day. This is a reminder that they had
They trying to eat real food. You see that? They got hot dogs, avocados, fries, pancakes, cupcakes, pizza, candy, strawberries, blueberries, chicken nuggets. You get Kissy. You got bananas, corn dogs. You feel me? All of this stuff. They trying to eat that stuff. They ain't trying to eat no humans.
strength in numbers and to stick together. The toys even drew their favorite foods. As nice as this
Tacos,
is, it's a reminder that the experiments were so hungry they began to fantasize about the foods they craved. It's a harsh reality, but drawing the food gave them hope that one day they will get to eat their favorite foods again. Now, behind this door lies a bathroom that more or less has been turned into a room with toys, a bed, and a sheet with mom written on it. You'll see this around Safe Haven as well. It's clear that these children miss their real parents. The other side of the wall shed some light on how the toys were really feeling. They would draw themselves as people again, mentioning how they miss doing things like swimming. It's pretty sad to think about. It also shows the smiling critters crying together, wondering if they will ever be saved. There is even a drawing of Doughy protecting them. However, they're all frowning because they were scared. Scared of what the future held and scared that they would never get their lives back. You might have also noticed this drawing of Poppy with a large red X saying she left us. Where are you? We need you, Poppy. This is a drawing we will see more of inside of Safe Haven. When Poppy left to speak with the prototype, she was put inside her case and never returned. So the other toys got worried and
So she left to go speak with the prototype. Why do you think she did that? Is there some type of ulterior motive here that we're just not seeing? Because remember, we found Poppy in Poppy Playtime Chapter 1. We found her in like the case, you feel me? And then we just started helping her. So we don't actually know what happened prior to that. I'm thinking we're going to find out in Chapter 5. I don't know if that's the last chapter or if there will be a continuation, but we'll just have to see.
and wondered where she was, leading to them drawing these pictures of her. This reveals that Poppy was an important figure for these toys, and her absence affected them more than we will probably ever know. There are also smaller drawings that are just as impactful, like this one of a hangman game spelling out hope. It includes a child, a pet named Bruno, her mother, father, a house, and the text, "I miss home." A reminder that these experiments, rather orphans, still reminisce about what once was their old life. Now, the room behind the door on this wall is not another bathroom. This seems to be a shrine room dedicated to all of the late experiments, rather orphans, that lost their lives to their fight for freedom. The room is filled with tons of candles and poppy flowers, as a poppy flower is all they can get while inside the facility. A mini Bobby Bear Hug is also down on his knees, presumably praying or paying his respects to the friends he lost. This reminds us that these experiments have feelings too. The drawing on the wall confirms this. It depicts all of the toys fighting, mentioning we are losing, we must win, dead. I don't want to die, and 40 dead. The toys fought for their lives and put up a fight against the doctor and the prototype, however fell short and lost up to 40 of them. Just this drawing alone tells a tragic story, but shows us they had courage to fight for their lives. I think this room is a reminder that these still alive experiments are people too, and above all, they care for each other. Now, inside Safe Haven, there are 5 rooms, each with their own significance. The first is the showers, which I already touched on. They are kind of an all-purpose room. The second is the auxiliary power room. This is where Safe Haven's off-the-grid generator is located. You might have noticed there are a ton of power cells around the center room. These were used over the years to power this generator. As we know, during Chapter 4, the generator needs to be repaired, but to access it, you need the Omni Hand. This is where we come in, to acquire the hand after defeating the—
So how are they still powering the generator without the Omni Hand?
The doctor and use it to repair the generator. However, while this generator is down, the security measure is also down, meaning the prototype would be allowed to get in. This is something we will see later on. That's about it for this room. It just holds the generator.
Okay, so he got in when we were fixing the generator. Is that why he was— oh, so that's why the prototype helped us restore the generator, because that's what he was looking for. He wanted us to do that so that he could get in. Damn. So we just helped him.
The third room is shipping, and this is where the elevator is located for moving important staff to and from the surface. Now, like this room suggests, this room is for shipping items to the surface and vice versa. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what they would have been sending down here or up there. Most of the boxes are worn batch, so maybe tools and whatnot. That being said, it's likely for sending supplies to the staff that are down here without raising attention. I'm sure if someone saw you sending surgical tools down, they would probably ask why. There are also a few Boxy Boo toy boxes down here. This could hint that we'll see him in Chapter 5. The fourth room is labeled storage. This was likely where staff would keep important things. However, it seems to have been turned into a hangout spot for the toys. There's even a Kissy Missy toy just chilling out and reading a book. Speaking of books, this room is filled with them, so this could also be a library of sorts. Since there wasn't much to do for fun around the location, reading was probably one of their only options. Interestingly though, almost all of the books are about Playtime Co. or their characters, meaning the company only allowed the experiments to read books about them and not the outside world. There is also a brawn couch with a bunch of huggy and kissy pillows. Honestly, I wish there was more to say about this room, but it just looks like a hangout spot. The last room is the most interesting. This is the infirmary, a place where toys can get medical attention. There are a bunch of medical beds and medical supplies. We even see it being used as Bobby Bear Hug is laying on one of the beds, presumably injured, and Bubba Finn is comforting him. Again, this shows us that the experiments care for each other. To them, they are more than just toys. They are people too. Now, there is also another room attached to this infirmary. It seems to be an additional lounge area with tons of pillows and books. Most importantly, there is Kickin' Chicken and Kissy Missy just watching a blank screen with the sound of the Nightmare Critters theme song. Mommy Longlegs and a bunch of other toys are just lying around as well. This room reminds us that these toys still value the same things they did as kids. Just hanging out, watching TV, and listening to music. These types of activities are not only fun for kids, but it allows the experience.
How did teeth get like that though? Did they like what? Those ain't human teeth, bro. They had to have picked them from somewhere.
To remember their past lives. So while it's cool to see them just hanging out, it also reminds you of who they once were. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Once we return to Safe Haven, it's completely destroyed. The mini critters are all dead and the place is left in ruin. Once again, another good story ends in tragedy.
Why did Prototype have to kill them though?
As I've been saying, Safe Haven was a beacon for hope for these experiments. It was all they really had left. This was their new home. But remember, they are still just kids. They like to draw, play with toys, read, and watch TV. These toys are grasping at whatever human life they have left and holding on to it here. They even support a shrine to their fallen friends, rather family, in hopes to never forget what once was. Like I've been saying, this place reminds us that these experiments are people too. But unfortunately, just like everything inside of Playtime Co., Safe Haven ends in tragedy as it turns into ruin and the remaining experiments perish with it. The story of Safe Haven shows us that even when there's hope, Playtime Co. always seems to rip it away. How did you guys feel about Safe Haven? It's kind of funny that I made a video about a location in the game, but I felt it was super important, so I figured I would try and explain it the best I could.
That's dope. Okay, let's understand Poppy. Like I said, I don't know what Poppy got going on. Cause she seems not too evil, but at the same time she does.
The biggest questions I had leading up to chapter 4 was, is Poppy actually evil? I think a large majority of the fan base collectively agreed that she was, or will be in some way. I mean, there is plenty of evidence to support this. However, after chapter 4, I'm not entirely sure anymore what side she's on. I mean, there's even a propaganda poster suggesting that Poppy—
Okay, it says Poppy leads you to the grave. You fight not to survive, but to die. See where this has gotten you. It's not too late to change your mind. Join us and we will spare your lives. You have 24 hours. We will not make this offer again.
Poppy will lead everyone to the grave. Is this true? Honestly, it's complicated, but let's try to see if we can't figure out just how evil Poppy really is. In my previous video questioning if she's evil or not, I suggested that Poppy sent us the letter and put herself in the case to trick us. We would see her as
okay. That's a new development.
Damsel in distress and want to help, when in reality, it would have just been to lure us into the factory and take advantage of us for the prototype's gain, whatever that may be. Why? Because I think the prototype is Elliot Ludwig, Poppy's father. Now, after playing chapter 4, part of what I suggested was true, but I feel a lot differently now considering the new information we have. Poppy revealed through a VHS tape that Elliot Ludwig is in fact her father, and a few other details.
What? Elliot Ludwig is her father? Nah.
Revealed through a VHS tape that Elliot Ludwig is in fact her father, and a few other details I'll talk about later. There were also certain things the prototype said to Poppy that could mean he is Elliot. I feel like he is the only other significant human left that could have been used for the prototype's experiment. He can't be Leith Pierre because Leith named the prototype in a catnap VHS tape.
We'll let you out here and there to go see the kids in play care, but your home is here. And as for the prototype, his home is in the labs.
Meaning the prototype was already created while Leith was alive. But the prototype being Elliot is important, that's why I bring it up. So let's take a look at Poppy's plan, because it will help us decide if she's really a bad person or not. She explains it when we first enter Safe Haven. She wants to save these still alive orphans and destroy the prototype by any means necessary. Once us, her, and Kissy have freed the orphans, Doey and everyone else will blow the factory sky high. That's our, rather her, revenge. But you might have noticed the flaw in this plan. Doughy and all of the other friendly toys will also be destroyed along with the prototype. Poppy
I was thinking about that too. I was like, what the fuck? How you just gonna blow this shit up with folks? You feel me? Where y'all gonna go? Y'all toys. But I
doesn't
didn't know
even
she was
mention
gonna blow
them
them
leaving
up.
with
That's
us.
crazy.
So this in itself could suggest she is evil depending on how you look at it. I mean, she's willing to kill the other innocent toys to stop the prototype. This is why Doughy stresses his disagreement with her plan. As he said himself, they're people too. Now, Harley also pleads to us that Poppy is the bad person in the story. While inside the morgue area, Harley tries to convince us that what Poppy is doing is going to get everyone hurt. He stresses how she sold us her story, then reveals she knew about the Hour of Joy. She knew it was going to happen. Harley continues how Poppy has just been stringing us along, betrayed us, and has only told us what we needed to know to do exactly what she asks.
That's
All
true.
she wants is
Yeah.
violence. Once the experiments were free, instead of leaving, they created hell. Seems pretty convincing, right? Like I said before, this is
Yeah.
Harley trying to assure us that Poppy is the villain. But it doesn't stop there. Later on, he continues by suggesting she doesn't actually care for us. She would sacrifice us in an instant if she believed it meant getting what she wanted.
Which we saw at the end. She just straight up dipped. She left Kissy, bro.
The only difference between her and Harley is what he fights for gains humanity something. This line from Harley is the most important. You see, Harley knows that Poppy's plan to stop the prototype is going to kill the remaining experiments, his creations. Harley doesn't want his work to be for nothing. If Poppy destroys everything, the Bigger Bodies Initiative will be gone. This is what he meant by saying he fights for gaining humanity something. Harley thinks the Bigger Bodies Initiative will save humanity by giving humans immortality. This is why Harley has been trying to convince us that Poppy is the real villain. He doesn't want her to destroy everything he built. This also explains the Poppy propaganda poster. This was Harley's doing to try to convince the other toys that Poppy would lead them to their death. Which he's not entirely wrong. Even after killing Harley, his last words are "You saved no one." If Poppy's plan works, almost all of the experiments will die. So that being said, what do we know so far? Why was what Harley said about
Do you
her
think Poppy set off the explosives in the room when we were down there in the mines?
important? Well, Poppy's plan is to destroy the prototype, but at the cost of all of the other experiments. What Harley said about Poppy wasn't entirely wrong. He was right, however, he was only acting this way because he wanted to save his creations in the Bigger Body Initiative. So I'm still on the fence about Poppy. Fortunately, the ending of the game reveals a few more details that will help us out. The prototype says he's going to come get Poppy and kill everyone else. After all, Elliot wouldn't want to lose his daughter for a second time. Now, Poppy goes on about how the prototype lied to her, and he says it's because she kept missing the point. The prototype continues, revealing that he put Poppy in her case in hopes that she would see things differently. This proves the other part of my video wrong. Poppy didn't put herself in the case. It's always been about her and him, what they are. That's not a truth that can be burnt away. Those three lines are extremely important, but to understand what this all means, we need to take a look at Poppy's VHS tape again. This tape seems to be a place where the experiments can vent, if you will. It allows them to express their feelings, because sometimes you just need to get something out. I say this because Doughy has a tape just like this. It's kind of like a confession tape. She starts by saying it was awful, this wasn't what she thought they were going to leave the factory, not this. Poppy is talking about the Hour of Joy, meaning the prototype convinced Poppy that the Hour of Joy was going to allow all of the experiments to leave. This is what Harley was talking about when he said Poppy knew about the Hour of Joy. But the toys never left. The prototype lied to Poppy to get her on his side. After it went down, after Poppy met with him again, he told her they can't leave the factory. Not now, not ever. She then goes on about how she hates him for this, and she hates that he's right. The experiments can't leave. It's too risky. They can never let what happened to them happen to anyone else. Why is the prototype right about not leaving? Because if the toys leave, the Bigger Bodies Initiative will not stop. Other scientists will just continue Harley's work. This also means the prototype might actually not be a bad guy. He just wants to stop the experiments from continuing. Yes, the toys killed people during the Hour of Joy, but to the prototype it had to be done for the greater good. Something had to change for the experiments to stop. The prototype is not a villain. He never was. Which means he took the orphans to—
Okay, this is deep. This is heavy. I don't know what to think. You're telling me the prototype is a good person? I don't know, bro. We have to see in chapter 5. This is all speculation, so we don't know. But to know that Poppy is Elliot Ludwig's daughter is crazy, bro. Like that's a good theory that the prototype is her dad. It's a
preserve
great
their
theory.
lives. They are asleep, while the prototype figures out a plan to keep them alive forever without turning them into toys. At least that's my idea for his plan. After all, even if the kids leave, word of what happened will get out. This explains why he put Poppy in her case. She was trying to escape the factory after he lied to her. The prototype has been trying to stop anyone, even the other toys, from escaping, even if it means killing them. This is why he wants to kill us, Kissy, and the rest of the friendly toys. It's not because he's evil, it's because he just wants to stop the experiments. So why is all that important? Well, this was the point he said Poppy was missing, the bigger picture. And like I said before, at the end of the tape, Poppy reveals that her father is Elliot Ludwig, which brings us back to their conversation, what they are. Father and daughter. That cannot be burnt away. So all of that being said, we know Poppy's plan, we know why Harley was saying she's evil, and we know the prototype is likely not the bad guy. To answer the question, is Poppy evil? No, I don't think she is. But let me explain. If Poppy and the prototype are father and daughter, I don't think it matters to Poppy anymore. I don't think she's trying to help him with a master plan, considering everything I just said about him. I suggested she was evil because she wanted to help him, but after chapter 4, it seems like they don't want the same thing. I think Poppy truly hates the prototype. This is why she doesn't address him as her father. She is ashamed and doesn't see him as such. She thinks that the prototype is trying to keep them locked away forever, when in reality, he's just trying to put a stop to everything. Poppy is a child. She doesn't fully understand the bigger picture. So, filled with anger and hatred, she just wants him gone so she can leave, even if it means sacrificing the other toys. Poppy misses being a real girl, and she thinks by leaving the factory, she will get her life back. However, we know that's not going to happen. So, I want to ask the question one more time. Is Poppy evil? Who is truly the bad person here? The one trying to put an end to everything Playtime Co. has done? Or the one whose plan will kill innocent lives and let Playtime Co.'s secrets out? That's a tough one, but remember, she's just a kid, so I think it's a moral dilemma. Technically, Poppy is not evil, but is she doing the right thing? Well, I'll let you decide.
So you're telling me Poppy is Elliot Ludwig's daughter, and right now it's speculation that the prototype is Elliot Ludwig, which is her father. Bro. See, this is what I mean, bro. I gotta play it again and get the tapes, because there's no way I missed all this stuff. That's crazy. What? Poppy is, bro. What do y'all think? Y'all think she's evil? I genuinely, that's rough. With that information, I don't know. Can either of them be evil at that point? I don't, I can't put my finger on it. That's a tough one. But none of this is confirmed. But what is confirmed is that Elliot Ludwig is Poppy's father. We don't know if the prototype is Elliot Ludwig and that he's trying to, stop the, more experiments happening. I don't know. That's a tough one. But that's crazy. Did y'all know that? Let me know in the comments.